Where shall we begin the story? Once upon a time? Of course. With a grandmother? Sure. So, here goes. Once upon a time, there was a grandmother.
Come, little children.
Like this one.
Okay, I know what you all want. You want me to tell you all a story.
And as twilight faded into starlight, you and I would huddle close to her, wide-eyed or sleepy-eyed, listening as she cast a spell over us with her enchanting words. Forgetting hunger, forgetting sleep, we would be transported to fairy lands far away on magic carpets woven with her voice. Those childhood evenings with Grandma left behind a hunger for words, a hunger for tales. And so, you and I moved on to the wonderful world of books and the pleasure of reading. The stories, the settings, the authors changed as the years flew by. But the love kindled by Grandma's fables so long ago remained undimmed. Then, one day, there appeared the evil stepmother, the ugly sisters. The Kindle, the iPad, the Nook, and at least 30 other devices which promise anyone with a browser the opportunity to read digital books. There appeared online booksellers, evil giants and trolls, and they killed the good old-fashioned printed book. Or so say the doomsayers. Ruskin Bond disagrees. Cash may run out, but books will survive, says the storyteller par excellence.
Once when I was in London and I was walking down a lonely street late at night, and somebody came up and threatened me and wanted me to hand over my valuables. I had a book in my hand. It was a pretty hefty copy. I think it was something by Charles Dickens. And I took the book and I hit him over the head, and then I prodded him in the stomach, and he turned and ran. So books have their uses apart from being reading material. You have to believe that story. It's not out to do away with books. The powers that be are out to do away with rupee notes altogether. Whereas I'm not sure, maybe cash may not survive, but I think books will.
Books in the times of demonetization. Author and living legend Ruskin Bond makes a case for a hardcover printed book.
What I've seen in recent 3 or 4 years, the phenomenon of thousands of young people who want to be writers. The majority of those I meet actually want their work published between book covers. There is something, maybe a feeling of permanency. And personally, as a writer, I find in terms of actual sales of books, and I'm not talking just of myself, but of so many successful Indian authors who now sell in thousands or even in lakhs. We didn't have best-selling authors in India, but we have now dozens of them. So which means somebody is buying their books and reading them. So I should think that would, at least for some years to come, be the case.
Journalist and publishing professional Soumya Mukherjee believes that it is the content that decides how we read, online or offline.
Poetry at most was being published online a lot because it's small format. It was easier to put it out there. So news, for instance, is a big hit online. People consume it far more online than maybe more timeless subjects such as art, culture, cinema, music, literature, narratives. For example, big interviews, retrospectives, biographies, also biographical memoirs, reportage as well will stay better in the printed word. You want to keep it as a keepsake forever, and which is not the case with news. You don't want to read the same news. That's why it's called news. So that way, yes, I see that online news channels, news will be moving faster onto the online publication.
Are we reading differently today? Do books continue to hold sway over the public consciousness despite the onslaught of other more seemingly powerful media? Are we reading less? Or is there a resurgence of the reading habit, boosted by newer, more interactive means of reading? Our microphone knocked on various doors for the answers.
गुलजार साहब का लिखा हुआ एक कलाम, किताबें झांकती हैं बंद अलमारी के शीशों से.
When it comes to books and nostalgia, can anyone say it better than the poet and lyricist Gulzar?
अब मुलाकातें नहीं होती, ज़बां पर जायका आता था जो सफ़े पलटने का, अब उंगली क्लिक करने से बस एक झपकी गुजरती है.
For Bhavin Gosai, classical vocalist and theatre person, the pleasure of reading is associated with the good old-fashioned printed book.
For me, the hard texture of the page is very important. For me, to buy a new book and smell the pages is very important. For me, even sometimes the publisher and the print of the book is very important. I will read a book even if it's printed badly, but the pleasure gets extremely enhanced if I have a book which is printed beautifully. And books that are old, that have gone through various hands and have come to me either through a second-hand bookshop, also have their own charm. They have a history. I have never written my name in a book, which is a habit with a lot of readers who stamp their identity on the books by writing not just their names, but also the date on which they bought it. And sometimes there are readers who annotate their books, and it's always interesting to see where the other person's mind is.
Nostalgia is highly overrated, feels Akhil Goswami, master's student at Ambedkar University.
Most of my friends who have had this long connection to reading, they will say that, no, there is this thing about the touch of the book, the smell of the book. I will not get that. Since I have not read much as a child, and hence I have not had this nostalgia to books. I feel I am much more adaptable, much more flexible.
But you are reading now.
Yes, I am reading now. I am reading on Kindle, on tablets, on my phone. You know, it's much more simpler to carry my books on my phone or my tablet and to carry a big bundle of books in my bag, which some of my friends do. I don't see sense in that. There's a free PDF available. And since I've always been reading the printed word and on a Kindle, the adaptability, that we can fiddle with the font size, we can adjust the text size. Ebooks have have features like the night mode, which allows you to read at night without much strain to your eyes, which is why I feel that, you know, reading an actual book is not a luxury that our generation can really afford, especially given the environmental concerns that are associated with it.
On the 2nd of November this year, Chandrasekhar, an independent journalist, started what he called a book-loving social experiment on Facebook. His post read, "Buy your favorite book and send it to a stranger. You will be sending only one book to one person. The number of books you receive will depend on the number of participants. The books that show up at your door are other people's much-loved stories. Hashtag save the reading culture. Hashtag book exchange. Let's relive the print reading era." The replies came pouring in the very same day.
Oh wow, that's a brilliant idea.
I would like to participate, and I hope that from Cuba it can be possible.
Great, I'm in as well.
Wow, kya baat hai?
Why relive? I'm still living in the era of books.
Fabulous idea.
A month after his Facebook post, we spoke to Chandrasekhar.
It's like a chain and you'll get books from random people. I had sent a book to someone in Jaipur. Okay, what I did, I went to the Amazon app on my phone, okay, and I ordered a book, and the person got it in Jaipur. Okay, so imagine, I'm using a digital medium, and by using that, I'm sending an actual book to someone in a different city. And I wanted to add one more thing. For example, Amazon is a very big shopping portal around the world. They also have a bookstore, a physical bookstore in Seattle, Washington.
The brick and mortar bookstore.
Yes. An actual brick and mortar store. Okay, I mean, it means that it also makes business sense. Yeah, so, I mean, I think physical books will continue to grow.
Brick and mortar bookstores are where one discovers new authors, says best-selling author Anand Neelakantan.
In online, you will always buy the non-author. A new author will be found in the bookstall. You walk to a bookstall, you see a cover, then you just flip it. None of these things happen. Here you already book the book and buy it. So bookstores are relevant. They will continue to be important because they are reinventing themselves now. If you see the modern bookstore, they conduct a lot of events which the digital cannot have. They bring authors, there will be an interactive sessions. They are catching kids, they are selling toys also. So those who are able to reinvent, those bookstores are flourishing. Traditional way, any business, when the new things comes, they fade off. No, like that they are fading, but that doesn't mean reading is fading. Reading is booming only.
Bookstores are looking to find their niche, their unique value proposition, and lock in their customer relationship experiences. They are reinventing themselves, says Priya Kapoor of Roli Books.
Over the winter, we had every Wednesday we would screen a movie, and the movie was something or the other related to, say, for example, we did Annie Leibovitz through the lens, so about photography. We did Valentino, which was about, fashion. Then we've had bookbinding workshops. We've had now 3 sessions where people can come and learn how to make their own books and bind them themselves. We've had an art appreciation class for children. We've done basically a series of talks by art collectors where they come and they show the art that they collect and they tell us why is it that they collect what they do. We've also done a couple of book readings and launches here. We've done a script writing workshop as well. So all kinds of things. The concept is very much to make it into a hub for anyone interested in these subjects.
So, where did it begin really? The story. Long before Grandma, 34,000 years ago, an artist used pigment on a cave wall in France to create some of the first known paintings. Amazingly detailed animals sprung into life, interacting with each other. The artist was one of our earliest storytellers, as an interaction is a story, just as the stories that we see unfolding on our monitors or screens today. Author Anand Neelakantan is optimistic about new media repackaging and representing traditional and timeless tales.
Book, actually, if you see, book is only 200 or 300 year old, if you really see. Book reading or a novel reading as a culture. Stories are what is important, more than the books. We get sentimental about the books. Books is one tool of storytelling. You see, majority of stories were told in the oral way. This oral tradition is easier to convert to digital rather than book. With a digital medium, even with an app, if these folk tales can come, like if somebody can make an app of folk tales, kids can listen to it if it is properly narrated. Audiobooks is different. Audiobooks, what is happening in the audiobooks, even my books have been come as audiobooks. All the audiobooks, they are just plain vanilla reading. That's not the way the stories are told. It should be storytelling rather than just reading. Reading is sleep inducing. Somebody reads a book, how long you will hear it? But if it is told properly, if it is told with music, if it is told with songs, how traditionally it is told. And if it are small stories, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, like app, download and hear it, it's a good opportunity provided we know how to use it.
US-based children's writer Meeta Bordoloi's first picture book was Bulbuli's Bamboo. It came out as a paperback. The Queen's Story is one of her 3 subsequent picture books that were published online.
Those are children's picture books again, as Bulbuli's Bamboo, yet they are only available on iPads, iPhones, Google TV, or Android. One can download them.
Would you consider playing a little from one of your ebooks for our listeners, so
sure.
that they'll have an idea of the...
Sure, I'll give a sample.
The Queen is giving command. Adim Sadim Bad. What is her command, my lady? Adim Sadim Bad. Aha, I see an old saying. Adim Sadim Bad. pick up the toys from the floor. Adin Sadim Bad.
I just played a sample from my ebook, The Queen's Game. Adim Sadim Bad in The Queen's Game is a repetitious sentence, and it stems from our childhood game called Rojai Hukum Di Se Adim Sadim Bad Ki Hukum Di Se Adim Sadim Bad. The basis is that game I used to play with my cousins. The Adim Sadim Bad is the repetitious sentence that is in every... The mother and child play the game before going to bed. It's a lullaby kind of story where the mother, through games, lets her son do his chores before bed. Put the toys in the box, go brush your teeth and things like that. And in the end, they cuddle and read a book and go to bed.
So Bulbuli's Bamboo is more of a traditional form. It is a picture book which is on print.
On print.
But these are e-books. But how much accessible will the Indian child, be to it?
Me Genius is a new publishing house that publishes e-books. I'm not sure if they'll eventually have paper, prints, but those books are accessible from all over the world.
All right.
And I can see that only people who can afford iPads and iPhones will have access right now. But in the US, children are given iPads in their schools,
right,
in every classroom. So right now there is a market there for these kind of books, or to only certain segment, which has, but I hope someday it will be available all across.
We see here how a playground game in a remote Assam town from the author's childhood is ingeniously converted into a story that engages a child in performing nighttime chores like putting away toys and brushing teeth. A story that is reaching a worldwide web of children through e-publishing.
Paperback writer. Dear Sarah, madam, will you read my book? It took me years to write. Will you take a look? It's based on a novel by a man named Mir, and I need a job, and I wanna be a paperback writer. Paperback writer. It's 1,000 pages, give or take a few. I'll be writing more in a week or two. I can make it longer if you like the style. I can change it round, but I wanna be a paperback writer. Paperback writer.
Many we spoke to believe that printed books will vanish, remaining only as relics of an old era collected only by dedicated enthusiasts. Comparisons were often made with the music industry, with gloomy forecasts that the printed book will go the way of the CD. The old order changes, yielding place to new, feels Dhrutabrata Bhattacharya Tato, writer, publisher and cultural historian.
Before the advent of books came the manuscripts. Producing a manuscript, like right from the making the paper, having a good handwriting, the calligraphic aspects, it was a elaborate process. In Mughal era, we used to call it karkhana. In fact, this was actually started much earlier. The actual karkhanas were started by, if I'm not wrong, by Lodhis. But since Humayun himself was exposed to Iranian culture and the tradition of manuscript making, Akbar actually had a full-fledged karkhana and kitabkhana. In the karkhana, there used to be the scribes, illustrators like Mansoor, like star illustrators of the Mughal period. So there were certain skills that were developed during Mughal period, but with the advent of letterpress, we have definitely lost those skills. If the books are going to be completely replaced by the e-readers, then definitely there will be certain skill sets that humanity is going to lose. But now you have to look at it also from a positive point of view. Today you go to Christie's or Sotheby's or any major auctions, the manuscripts are being auctioned. So, from a daily object, it got promoted to what we call asset class. It becomes an asset. So I would say that if there is no books at all in another 50 years, then all these books which we see today, they might actually become asset class objects, collector's items, collectibles.
Dhritabrata Bhattacharya Tato even forecasts the return of the book, the printed book that is, in a new avatar.
I think the challenge is like to make people to read more, be it book, be it on tablet, be it on anything. And going one step forward, I would also say that it's not my words, it's some American thinker. I don't have the name in my mind right away, but he said that let's assume that the books are no more in use. We don't have books, everything is on tablet. And 50 years from now, when there is no more books, perhaps we don't use paper at all, then there will be this gentleman who will have this brilliant idea to print a story from a tablet onto a paper, get it bound and get it home delivered. And that might also become another trend, and that will be the return of the book.
The idea finds a resonance in Dr. Sami Ahmad Khan, assistant professor, Indraprasth University and science fiction writer. We ask him how he would write a science fiction novel about a book set 50 years in the future.
Well, this is going to be the story of a little girl who is around 10 or 12, about how she comes across these books, which is going to be an alien concept for her, because for her, knowledge, information, data is all digital. Just as now, when people reach the age of 15 or 16 and they want to read, they expect a Kindle as a gift, and the Kindle is this great gift that you can get to read books. In the 2070, the greatest gift that you can get is a printed copy.
Okay, it will be the return of the book. How would you end her story?
Okay, the story would end with this little girl realizing that a printed book or a printed novel has the same sort of importance to her as a steam locomotive from the 19th century is to us. It is a part of our history. It is a part and parcel of our human civilization. So she is going to be extremely happy about getting that book. But at the same time, she would be very conscious that this is just something which is a relic of the past, and this cannot be deployed in the market, at large. Because if we start doing the same thing, imagine the population of the 2070s. If every household has 5 books, there would be no trees left on this planet.
How does Dr. Sami Ahmad Khan foresee the future of the book in view of the new media blitzkrieg?
I would say that the new media has to be wary of the book blitzkrieg, which is going to happen after 20 years, when people realize that new media is something which, due to its intangibility, is something which is mutable. And since it is mutable, it doesn't hold the same sort of veracity or the same sort of strength or the same sort of moral victory. See, new media, you can erase a tweet, you can edit your Facebook post, you can edit your blog. However, a newspaper, an article there, or a book, that cannot change.
A shifting landscape will undoubtedly cause disruption and challenges. Jobs in the publishing world will shift away from old-line manufacturing and warehousing to technology. Skills in social media marketing will be in high demand. Shantanu Guha Roy, senior sports journalist and author, sheds light on the ink to link story.
So the digital media has opened up a complete new market to everybody, and books is a very integral part of it. It will definitely take about a quarter of a century in this country for Indians to completely get submerged into something like the digital space in printing. That would be in a time when you will see a Chetan Bhagat or a Amish Tripathi pushing their books only on the digital media. Even today, bulk of the writers worldwide prefer their books to be printed and rather going on Kindle. It goes on Kindle, which is a natural system, a natural phenomena, that when you wear shoes, you wear socks. So publishers have realized that the prices of those Kindle versions are shrinking. So what they do when they sell the book, when you're ordering from the internet, the e-commerce sites, there is an option that besides ordering the hardbound book or a soft paperback, you have an option to buy the Kindle version also, and it comes in a package.
Soumya Mukherjee is Deputy Editor of Platform, a lifestyle magazine available in both print and digital formats.
Though Platform is going huge digitally, and we have a lot of readers online, they miss out on a lot of premium content which is inside the printed magazine. So how it works is that, we have content on our digital platform, which is platform.com, but it is not as much of the content. In fact, it's not the content in the magazine. There's only a minuscule part that is featured out there. So for that, we have, online subscription outlets such as, there's eMagster that you can, buy a copy digitally on. So that balance is also very important. How much of it do you want to put out? And by making your online content a window into the quality of your offline content, you're actually drawing in more readers, immaterial of the medium. You hook them and then you get them onto the printed word.
We had set out to look for the future of the book amidst the new media onslaught, and discovered that social networks allow readers the chance to find printed books they never would have come upon. That a child in upstate New York can be put to sleep with an interactive story evolved from a children's game from Assam. Touchscreens let children interact with books or play games related to the story.
Ouch! Crocodile has a terrible toothache. Is there a forest creature who is brave enough to help take away his pain? Join Wise Turtle on a journey to find out. Read, play, and learn. Ready, set, turn the page. Every page of this book has a special spot for you to touch. Tap or swipe it to bring this...
We had set out to look for the future of the book and discovered that the book itself is being reinvented. The future is here. Finally, it is about the story. Thousands of years ago, some very creative people painted some cave walls and started the art of storytelling. So how will it end, the saga of the story? Will the story move seamlessly from medium to medium, reinventing itself with the future? Or will the story itself become history, a relic from the past? How should it end, dear listener? With a the end or a to be continued into the happily ever after? And as for this radio story, we shall be back with more. Same time, same day of the week, same frequency a month from now. Stay tuned.